Some more little things are unfolding for Roxanne and Liv's story, so we'll see what's that about. We'll also check out what's up with Stephanie, the Street Profits, and more. Starting things off with the latest developments for Roxanne Perez and Liv Morgan's storyline. The last few weeks of Raw have featured a lot of tension building up within the Judgment Day, mostly between Liv and Roxanne. Roxanne was on the hot seat for a few weeks there, as Liv Morgan questioned Roxanne's true loyalty. But after proving herself by costing Finn a match a few weeks ago, it definitely feels like Roxanne took herself off the hot seat, and things don't appear to be that tense anymore between Liv and Roxanne. Even though things are a little more calm and civil now than weeks prior, you can still see some small cracks between Liv and Roxanne still being there. The May 18th edition of Raw didn't give us any backstage segments with Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez, but what it did give us was some more subtle clues of continuation for that story there. It was a big night for Roxanne and Raquel as they had a match against Brie Bella and Paige for the women's tag team titles. The closing moments of the match included Liv throwing Brie off the top rope and causing a distraction, while Raquel and Roxanne attempted to cheat by striking Brie with the title. But that plan did not end up going smoothly, and Roxanne was instead rolled up by Brie Bella for the win. It's hard to blame this loss and situation on Liv Morgan. We can't really say that Liv screwed over Roxanne and Raquel, because that doesn't appear to be the case. It looks like Liv Morgan legitimately was trying to help Roxanne and Raquel win the tag team titles in that matchup. But things simply didn't go their way, and luck wasn't on their side that night. Maybe it simply was a bad night for the Judgment Day. Or you can say that maybe their underlying issues with each other is why things just aren't firing on all cylinders for them right now. But after that loss, the Judgment Day took part in an interview with Brian Saxton that aired during the commercial break. During this interview, Roxanne and Raquel basically put the tag team division on notice and warned everyone to stay out their business. But the nice and subtle hint here for the Liv and Roxanne situation came towards the end of the interview segment. As Liv was wrapping up the interview segment, she dropped her usual line in which she yells and screams about being the greatest women's world champion of all time. And while Liv is boasting and bragging about herself, Roxanne can be seen giving Liv a few side-eyed looks and rolling her eyes a bit in Liv's direction. It's just facial expressions, so it's hard to get an actual grasp on what Roxanne really meant by giving Liv those looks there within that moment. You can say that maybe Roxanne was just a bit frustrated with the events of the entire night overall and how they didn't win the tag team titles, so maybe that's what had her in that type of mood. Or you can say that it was more personal, and that Roxanne was a bit annoyed directly with Liv Morgan for bragging about being world champion after the type of night the group had collectively. Maybe Roxanne was a bit annoyed at Liv Morgan bragging at a time like that. It could be a very small step towards Roxanne realizing that Liv isn't really leading the Judgment Day into a promising future and is more concerned about herself more than anything else. So nothing major this week for Roxanne and Liv's story, but that's expected since it is a slow-burning storyline after all. Something else fans were commenting on was how it's kind of strange that Liv Morgan's main feud and beef at the moment is with the women's tag team division. Liv is the world champion, and she has no current #1 contender, and has instead been spending her time in the tag team division over the last few weeks. And this is true. Liv is 1 month into her title reign with no title defenses and no feuds even set up. All she's been doing is taking part in a lot of the events happening in the tag team division right now. But Liv may finally get back to being a world champion again, and focusing on her title in the near future. Reports claim that Stephanie's return is still imminent. Original reports had her returning during the May 18th edition of Raw, but that did not happen, and reports now claim that she could return during the week of Clash in Italy. And considering that Stephanie was written off television thanks to an attack from all the women of the Judgment Day, it sure does seem safe to say that Stephanie is targeting Liv and the Judgment Day the second she gets back. So that's why it seems like Liv has been doing nothing that important in recent weeks and just messing around in the tag team division. Looks like they're just buying time for Stephanie to return and pick up that feud with Liv Morgan. So Liv may not be doing anything that exciting at the moment for her title reign, but with Stephanie reportedly being days away from returning, Liv is about to have a #1 contender again, and will start defending that title here real soon. It's a headline that we've seen so many times over the last few years, and it never gets paid off, but a breakup between the Street Profits is once again being teased. The community feels a certain way about this breakup because it's starting to feel like a running joke. Tension between the Street Profits and a split being teased there dates back all the way to 2021, where they first started teasing the idea that Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins would break up, but it never happened. Then, in all the following years after that, more breakup teasers would be sprinkled in every once in a while. Biggest one being in summer 2025, where serious issues were going on between the Street Profits, and once again, a split was teased there heavily, with the Wyatt Six even instigating that split there as well. But instead of paying it off with the split, the Street Profits vanished from television for several months and just recently returned a few weeks ago. And now a few weeks fresh into this return run for them, and they're once again teasing a split between the Street Profits. So after nearly 5 years of teasing a split on and off again, is this finally going to be the time when the split is actually going to get paid off, or will they once again delay it? That's the big question here, because we've seen so many Street Profits breakup teasers over the last few years, and the only thing they've led to in the past was hiatuses from television. So there is a lot of fan fatigue there with breakup teasers for the Street Profits, because this is something that has been teased and has repeatedly fallen through the cracks for many years. The story now is that the Street Profits are heavily disagreeing with each other for when it comes to everything related with Seth Rollins. Angelo Dawkins believes in helping Seth Rollins against the Vision, and Montez Ford thinks they should not get involved and mind their own business. This exploded during the main event of Raw on May 18th, where Angelo Dawkins went out there to save Seth Rollins, and Montez Ford came down to scold Angelo and tell him that nothing ever ends well with Seth Rollins and how they shouldn't be there. Montez Ford then pushes Angelo out of the way to save him and takes the spear from Braun Breaker himself, showing that even though the Street Profits have some disputes going on right now, Montez still cares for Angelo, and that's why he took that spear and saved Angelo. So a lot of mixed emotions are there right now between the Street Profits, and they're of course teasing the idea of the longtime duo splitting up with each other sometime soon. We'll have to see if this current situation and disagreement with Seth Rollins is enough to split up the Street Profits, or if they will get themselves together on the same page again. They were able to recover during all of the other previous times they got into disputes, so we'll have to see if they'll be able to do that again here, or if this is the final straw for the Street Profits after all. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.